nug. But yeah, as you can see, this is some organic homegrown weed. If you put these two side by side, like if you were just going based off looks, I'm gonna say, like, you know, a lot of people would choose this nug just based off looks. Between these two nugs, the one that smokes better is the homegrown organic one. This one smokes better than this. I've had this strain, strawberry pancakes or whatever, you know, just off looks. That's why like a lot of times you can't really go off looks when it comes to your weed. You really can't. Doesn't tell you the whole story. It can be an indicator, kind of like how the ash thing is, where like white ash doesn't really determine that you have good weed, but it's an indicator, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, once again, not a knock at this brand right here, High Fuel. This is actually my favorite strain from them. It's just, I feel like they tend to have a lot of pretty, like, you know, a lot of their weed looks really, really pretty, but it doesn't usually smoke how it looks. And it's a lot of brands that do that, I feel like. And like I said, not to knock that brand, it's only $25 for the eighth, so it's not like they're just killing people on these prices. Yeah, let's grow some of this. Let's roll up some of this organic weed right quick. Let's spark this up right quick. And as I've been smoking this organic weed, you know, homegrown weed, if I were to see that type of weed or whatever, I would not buy that shit just based off the looks. That's why it's like, it could be so deceiving, because I'm telling you, it's always a case of where I have some really pretty weed and it just doesn't smoke as good as it looks. And on the other hand, I've had a lot of shitty looking weed and it just smokes like fire. Like, it's just fire. So it's like a weird correlation. Like, literally, some of the best weed that I've ever had or ever smoked was some of the ugliest looking weed. Like, I got a picture, here's a picture of some bud that I had, and it was some of the best smoke that I've ever had. But just off looks, you wouldn't be able to tell that. That's why it's kind of hard to tell, even when people post pictures of their weed or even post pictures of their concentrates. It's really hard to tell if it's really fire unless you smoke it yourself. But you really start understanding like how the quality can get, because like you can do everything right and you can, you know what I'm saying, grow it, make it look good, make it smell funky, you can do everything right. But if it doesn't smoke good or it doesn't taste good or it's harsh, like those are deal breakers to me. Like, for me, looks and smell, none of that matters to me as much as how it smokes and how it tastes. I know you guys have ran into some pretty packs. I don't know why right now it's becoming like the pretty packs and the just pretty weed. It's just, you know, the looks, it's like weed is going through its like Instagram phase, where if it's really pretty, looks good, got a cool packaging, you know, it's gonna sell. You gotta put people on their toes. These companies, we gotta let them know, hey, your flower looks good, smells great, but it smokes pretty you know what I'm saying? It looks better than it smokes. I want flower that smokes better than it looks. You know, I'd rather have flower that smokes better than it looks than have flower that looks better than it smokes. This is smoking better than some $25, $30 eighths I bought at the dispensary. So I get why people be like, grow your own or find you a grower. Like, I get it. I definitely understand. Because even some of the lower quality homegrown stuff, it turns out being better than even the dispensary stuff, you know what I mean? It kind of goes into being in a rec market. A lot of these recreational companies, they got to go through a lot of regulations that their state requires them to do, and then they go through fees, and you know, they're losing money, and a lot of these companies and brands got to cut corners just to make some money or to not go broke. It just causes some companies to sacrifice quality just to keep the price tag a little bit more affordable for the consumer. And it's different in every market, different in every state. Every state has their own little like thing going on with it. But just like I'm just saying though, that's why it's a lot of pretty looking weed, but we want some good smoke. I don't want pretty weed. Stop trying to grow to make it look good, you know what I'm saying? Just grow great weed that gives you a nice high, that isn't killing the throat. That's all I think most consumers want. Something that gets you high and something that probably tastes good. Like, that's all I want. But yeah, I definitely have gotten pretty good looking weed, and it smoked really good as well. I was just saying, I just feel like a lot of times I get a lot of pretty good looking weed, and it just doesn't really smoke good. But something about them ugly looking, you know, nugs, the ugly growers, they make up for it for sure. How it smokes with the flavor. It's something about that. I don't know what it is with that. 'Cause honestly, I think it's like a weird thing. Like, I think weed, we are progressing. We are progressing with like the development of like growing weed and making it look good. Because it definitely looks better than what it was looking like 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? The mids of today would have been like